Do you really know everything that the Student Center offers? Stay tuned to SFA Now to get the scoop. Everyone knows the Student Center offers a variety of services to the students and faculty at SFA. Food, of course, being one of the biggest things. And tell me one person who doesn't know about the free printing on the third floor of the Student Center. But do the students of the SFA campus know everything that comes with the great Baker Patillo Student Center of ours? The Student Center is a place where students come to eat, hang out with friends, and sometimes study. But little do they know that there are other services that can be used by them, if only they would take a little time to ask what they were. For example, did you know that there was a graphic shop on the first floor of the Student Center? It's open to anyone who wants to use it, and they do some great work there. Or even the post office, which is located under the first floor by the cafeteria. If you live off campus, you might not have a P.O. box, but you can still send things from here instead of making that long drive to the UPS store. Now there are groups and organizations like SAA that use the movie theater, and others that use the Grand Ballroom and the Twilight Room. But do students know that they are available to check out any of the meeting rooms in the Student Center for their groups? Of course, they will have to save them with a good amount of time, but they are there for the students to use. Students should become more aware of the cool services the Student Center offers us. If you're too scared to ask the information desk, then go online to sfasu.edu and search Student Center. You'll find all the information you need. Everything is there at the tip of our fingers, and we shouldn't make it go to waste.
Here with me is Mr. Sam Smith, the Student Center Director. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for inviting me.
Okay, so to begin, tell us a little bit about what your daily duties are as Director.
Get the doors open.
That's it? It's as easy as that?
Get the doors open. The Student Center is an extremely complex place. Students requested that we built it. It's a student building. It's paid for with student fees and the revenues that we generate. But my duties are from day to day to see that we have all the operations in place and that students see a seamless operation of back and forth from food service to bookstore to recreation pieces to graphics to ID cards, and that their life is not interrupted but enhanced by the Student Center.
Absolutely.
That's my duty.
Absolutely. And so speaking of food, I know that we've got Chick-fil-A, Marble Slab. I mean, we kind of have it all, but how did y'all go about choosing which ones to provide at the Student Center? Was there a decision-making process?
Originally, when the Student Center was built, students sat down and there were polls taken about what students wanted to see in the building 10 years ago. And then a plan was put in place to try to bring those items to fruition based on what students said they wanted. Now, what has happened over time is some of the popularity of those brands have come and gone. There used to be a different sandwich shop in there. There used to be a different kind of ice cream in there. And so what we use is the Food Service Committee, and that Food Service Committee meets every 2 weeks at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and they tell us how we're doing, you know, up or down, what we need to correct, where it needs to go. And then as some of our brands, as they say, began to get stale, we started looking for new brands. We started shopping ideas with that student group. And then we came to people that would come to the Student Center or brands that we could fit into the Student Center or that would work for us. And so that's how we brought in recently Which Witch, and you'll see
it's a huge
the new
favorite.
Marble Slab,
right?
And then you'll see Urban Bricks. So the students have had input all along the way. In fact, we put some students in vehicles and traveled and went to look at different things, so we know how it's going to fit. Can students afford it? Is it fast enough for them to get the sandwiches or what they need in the time periods that they have? Is the kind of taste palette that's appealing to students today? That's what we want to make sure we're doing in the food line. Because
Absolutely.
here, we're to be of service to
Right.
students. It's not just something Sam Smith sits in an office and dreams of.
And one's his favorites there. Yeah, no, that's interesting that there's kind of like a science behind it, and that y'all are open to change and to the ebb and flow of realizing that students' tastes do change and their wants and needs change as well. So
We
it's
took a
exciting.
group of students last week from the Food Service Committee to another venue to say, what do you think about this brand? And students didn't like it. They rejected
Interesting.
it. So we're not going to pursue that brand.
And you wouldn't have known unless you had asked. So
We
that's
take them
a
out, let them take a look at it. Of course, when we do that, we pay for their meals, so this is
Right.
coming, so we want to know exactly what they feel.
right. So when you say that you do offer not only food, but I think we were talking earlier about the different services on the different levels. Explain to everybody a little bit about what they may not know the Student Center that they have to offer.
I'm very fortunate in the design of the Student Center happened before I got here. But one of the things, if you sit back and look and understand about the Student Center, is the layout of the building. We look at first floor as kind of being the retail space. Most people are going to access the retail space, whether it is for food, whether it is for bookstore, whether it is for graphics, whether it's an ATM machine or a vending machine. So the retail happenings happen there. The second floor is more of the social space. That's where all the meeting rooms are. That's where student organizations can come in and sign up and get a room, and then have the opportunity to use that room on a weekly basis throughout the semester. Or a student organization may just come in and plan one event or one big reception. It doesn't matter to us, but it needs to be a student organization. And all of that happens on the second floor. Because of that social space, you'll see that that's where we put Starbucks. That
Smart.
goes in there, and that fits into that social area. Now, the third floor is the student life space. That's where you're going to find student government, the Greeks, the multicultural center, and those type of things happen where students gather together. It's also where we have access to computers, and students can get up to 10 copies a day.
Right.
On the third floor. So there is some science to doing what we're doing as we flow through the building.
Right.
You'll notice that we're on the great east-west axis of the campus, so that you can move from the library over to this building
Exactly.
or over to Turner Auditorium. But it's a back and forth, in and out.
Almost like a hub.
It's a
of,
hub of
right.
the campus. And it's what I call, we have the Magic X. The Magic X is inside the Student Center. It's actually at the base of the grand stairwell. And that's where students make decisions about what they're going to do or where they're going to meet, or have a group meeting there and then move somewhere else in the building.
Right.
So we're very fortunate that we are ideally located, and we want to make sure that we stay as an opening, welcoming type facility,
And as seamless as it already is.
seamless as it is.
So going back to talking about this rooms that students have the option to check out, what are the qualifications for, say I wanted to do a study group, or if I just wanted to have a group of, 5? Are there a number? Is there a way that you go about deciding whether you can check out a room?
The Office of Student Affairs on the third floor of the building has responsibility for chartering student organizations. And if you're a chartered organization on this campus, then you're entitled to free use of the rooms, one meeting a week. Now, you can request more meetings, and if we have space, we can allow that.
Right.
But you have to be a chartered organization to use the facility on a regular weekly meeting basis. Now, we're coming up in finals, and so this is the big news for students. During the week of finals, if you want to have an ad hoc study group, you can come to the front desk of the Student Center, write down the names of the students that are in your group, and you can have a free meeting space during finals.
Wow, how
During
cool.
finals, we're going to be open 24 hours a day.
Awesome.
So it'd be a great place to come and hang out. It's a study area. It won't be a party area.
Right.
But we're
But
there
during
for
finals
students.
week, I think that's okay.
That's
I
okay.
think that's okay. All right. Well, groups and organizations hold many different activities in the center. You have SGA, Greek Life, SAA, some of those same things we were talking about earlier. But specifically, there's a movie theater. So every week they have the opportunity to go see a movie, relax, just kind of have the opportunity to, not worry about school for as much as, we all do. But let's take a quick look at what the Student Center and what specifically the movie theater does for students.
The Stephen F. Austin Student Activities Association strives to provide an educational and recreational experience outside the classroom through programs that culturally enlighten, intellectually stimulate, and entertain the university's community. One of those events are the movies they put on for students every Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. This allows students to get out of their dorms if they don't have anything to do on those nights. Or maybe even take your special someone on a date. Everyone knows college students are on a budget, and this is a great way not to spend as much money. It's just like the real movies. They have tickets which are way cheaper than the actual movies. It's only $2. And they also have a concession stand just in case you get hungry during the movies, also at a reasonable price. For $20, you can watch 2 movies and have snacks. Who doesn't like that price? Every week they have different movies showing. Now they're not going to be the ones that just came out in theaters, but they are pretty recent. Like this weekend, they're showing Terminator and Vacation. The first movie starts at 7 and the other starts at 9:30. SAA also holds a lot of other fun things for students to participate in. To get involved in these fun activities, you can go onto the SFA website and search SAA. And there you'll find the calendar with all their events and also the calendar for the movie theater. They also have it posted around the Student Center, so just keep a lookout for the cool things they do. And they're all mostly held in the Student Center, so you won't have to go far. The Student Center is a place for many opportunities, and we shouldn't let them go to waste.
Welcome back. Now, before we go, we have one last question for Mr. Smith. What would be your favorite part if you had to pick one thing about the Student Center? What would it be?
One part?
One thing about it.
I think my favorite part is to walk in the morning and walk into the grand atrium. I'm so fortunate to be at SFA. I think we're fortunate to have a grand building. But the building is not anything unless students are in it, using it, participating, and growing and exchanging ideas. So when you walk in that grand atrium, you realize the openness of everything that we can do today and the opportunities that are there for our students. If you don't like something, come see me. If you like something, let me know.
Right.
We'll see if we can embellish it or improve it.
Absolutely. Well, that's wonderful. And we really appreciate you coming in today and just being able to give us an insight that we wouldn't have already known. I mean, so many things that I know I've learned that I didn't before about the different levels and the different floors and the checking out of the rooms, and of course the finals week. Going to be open 24/7.
Thanks for having me today. Come use your Student Center. It's your place. Use it a lot. We'll try to keep it updated and in shape for you.
And give some feedback. So if you're
Always.
watching this and you have something that you like or you don't like, really this is our Student Center. It's for the students, so we really do want to improve on it as much as we can.
Come let us know. Axum Jackson.
Axum Jackson, thank you all for joining us today. Hopefully students will become more informed about our great Baker-Patillo Student Center. I'm your host, Hunter Sowards, and this has been another episode of SFA Now. We'll see you next time.